Who do you know that has struggled with addiction to alcohol or other drugs? A family member? A friend? A coworker? Nobody decides to be an addict when they grow up, hurting the people they care about, risking their own life.
It crosses every segment of the society. You know, the idea of the old stereotype, I guess, of the guy, the homeless person living under a bridge is pretty antiquated. I mean, it could be anybody. Anybody can have it. I didn't think I would ever be a part of anything like this.
Eventually, I crossed that line from substance abuse into substance addiction. And when I crossed that line, everything just went downhill constantly. I attempted suicide. I was put in a psych ward. I tried to overdose. I had a pulmonary embolism and was put in the ICU. I crashed multiple cars. I totaled multiple cars. I did just about everything self-destructive that you could imagine.
People develop addiction over time, each in their own individual way, and each individual's road to recovery will take different turns. Treatment is just one stop on the journey.
Well, it started at an early age in high school, just experimenting with different things, marijuana and alcohol. It became a big party scene, hanging out with the older kids. And then that just progressed through my adult life, and then I was introduced to harder substances, which really took control and just wrecked my life. And that once I got into those, it was really difficult to get away from.
I hadn't died, through all. And I knew there was a purpose for me somewhere, but I had to get clean to try to figure that out. And my goals in life and my dreams are to help women who struggle with the same thing that I have, and to be that support system.
Roads to Recovery isn't rehab or treatment. It is recovery management designed for each individual, matching their stage of recovery.
I got into some trouble, was drinking and driving, and I wrecked my car, and I found myself in jail, and I was facing about 3 years in jail. And at that time, I was 50 years old, and I felt totally lost, totally broke down, and I knew I had to do something different. I knew I had to change my life. And I remember sitting in a jail cell and saying to myself, Tony, it's got to be a better way.
Unique in our community, Roads to Recovery supplies the missing component for achieving successful long-term recovery. We focus on peer support. Mentors in long-term recovery help individuals and families find a pathway to recovery that will work for them.
I've taken a little less than traditional route to recovery. And the great thing about Roads to Recovery is we help individuals find the path that works for them. It may not be the traditional route, it may be something totally different. So we help them find that path to help them maintain their recovery.
It's taking the things that you took from treatment a step further. You're also dealing, and you go out and you go to work, you go to school, you go do the things you normally would do. People who just stay around a house don't get it.
It's very vital to me that I continue, regardless of how good I feel and how much better I think I've gotten, that I stay connected with, the support that I have in my life.
Whenever we're together, whenever two or more of us are together, invariably the situation or the conversation reverts to recovery. We talk about family, we talk about friends, we talk about work, we talk about situations as they relate to us in recovery. It's almost impossible not to talk about that. And that's a big help. Dealing with people or interacting with people like yourself on a regular basis is a huge help. And then again, something I never had thought of before or did before as far as this program was concerned was service. Being of service to another alcoholic or addict. In doing that, whatever you give, you're going to get back many, many times over. That return of service is a great feeling. And it helps you understand not just the other person, but a lot more about yourself. You give and receive, and it's a huge part of what has happened to me, probably the biggest part. Of all the other things that I spoke about, these are what people, I guess, refer to as tools. That's what they are. The things that you use on a regular basis to help you continue to recover and continue to stay sober and clean.
Addiction is like any other chronic health condition that requires recovery management for as long as it takes to achieve long-term success. At least 23 million people in our country are in long-term recovery. They say the major thing that helped them achieve it, and that helps them sustain it, is peer support.
Kirby from Roads to Recovery was my counselor or addiction coach while I was at Roads to Recovery. And she had done this thing that seemed so unobtainable to me. Something that I never could have imagined could be done. And it was an inspiration to me.
And when I see them get their lives back together and find work and get back with their families, that brings me a lot of joy. And it lets me know that this thing really works and that we can recover, we can get our lives back.
Is the outlook hopeful?
Yeah, I think there's a great deal of hope. I feel very good about what has happened and where I'm at now. If you'd asked me this a year ago, I'd have a totally different answer. But right now, having gone through this whole process, it's enlightened me in many ways, not just about the disease of alcoholism, but about myself.
Certainly the recovering people on our board feel that same way still, even after a number of years, is that you can still feel that gift and all it's brought about in your life, and you want to try to help others receive that gift.
Recovery happens in a community. We are a sanctuary in the heart of our community, working with organizations, individuals, and families to bridge the gaps that create barriers to recovery.
Over the time that I've been involved, what we've been focused on is trying to develop a system that's reliable, that we can show the judges, the prosecutors around here, that works. It's a program that fosters sustainable recovery, long-term recovery for substance use disorders, and it keeps people out of the criminal justice system, which is what we want, because we want a system that doesn't have people coming in and out of the door because we're not addressing the underlying problem. And that's what I feel we're about at Roads to Recovery.
By keeping people engaged over at least a year's time with supportive services, lasting success is dramatically increased. The human and economic cost of addiction to our families and community are dramatically reduced.
And facilities like Roads to Recovery allow you the chance to take yourself several steps further, really, not just one step, away from a rehab and back into real life.
Roads to Recovery, I think, offers one of the biggest hopes to, again, in a peer environment with professional direction, to allow people to get the gift of recovery that I got 30 years ago. I'm excited about it. I think more and more people are getting excited about it as we grow our board. People who feel the same way, people who are in recovery.
People can change and live healthy lives and be positively connected to their communities, no matter what they may have done in the past because of their addiction. Roads to Recovery is making that happen. Saving money, saving lives.
What comes to my mind is that Roads to Recovery gave me my life back as well. And because it helped Kevin find true recovery and long-lasting recovery so I could have my husband back.
If I met you on the corner, would I know you as you are? Would I take you for a stranger and brush past you in the door? If you called me, would I hear you? Would I walk away too soon. If I linger for a moment, would I see myself in you?